Okay, so here with Coach Hart. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on how Wariner's been coming along.
Well, Jeremy's training has been going very well. We had a little setback in June. He turned his ankle, lost a couple of weeks of really hard training, but he's back 100%, and I think he's going to do very well.
What have you been working on here with him recently?
Mainly just, besides just regular training, we've had to go back and do a little bit of general training to get him a little stronger than what I felt like he's been, and that's coming around good, and I think that he's in really good shape right now.
What do you think his chances are this weekend?
I think they're very good. I think that if he runs smart, runs the way he's capable, I definitely think his chances of winning are as good as anybody else's.
What are your thoughts on LaShawn Merritt?
I really don't have any thoughts. I don't coach him. I don't know. He's a fine runner. I've got enough to worry about with just my own runner, not worrying about him.
Technically, where do you see room for improvement in Jeremy?
Well, improvement can be made in all areas, but I think probably where he was the weakest last year, he wasn't consistent with his finishing and the last 100. And we primarily been working to try to improve that and get it back consistent.
How do you see him progressing over the next couple of years?
I think that his best running certainly should be ahead of him. He's still a young runner, and as you always can see, the runners are able to stay in this profession longer now than they used to. So I definitely think that he should be just as good for 2016, and that'll be here before we know it.
You see him getting the world record. Do you know?
Well, I think he's got the third fastest time in history, and so that puts him in the ballpark. I mean, you're just talking about an eyelash away, and anything can happen. Yeah.
When do you expect that? When do you think he'll be ready to make an attempt?
I've never really. The only time I've ever predicted that was when Michael broke it, and he was over 30 years old when he did that. So Jeremy's a little young for me to be predicting. We were just trying to win the race here. Not time will take care of itself. I've never coached to run time.
How does Jeremy compare to Michael?
Jeremy's Jeremy, Michael's Michael. They're entirely two different people. Michael was faster. Jeremy, when he's at his best, probably may have been a little stronger down the finish, but Michael was strong. I mean, it's hard to compare Jeremy against Michael. Michael's a world record holder, Olympic champion. Jeremy's Olympic champion. But they're just entirely two different people.
You mentioned Jeremy's speed. Is working on his 200s something that you'll be looking at?
Well, Jeremy ran some 200s early this year, and Jeremy's always going to be a good 200 runner. Whether he'll ever be a sub-20, I think that's down the road and very possibly. He's certainly better than an average 200 runner. He's not a world-class 200 runner right now, but he's a very good 200 runner.
Is getting his 200-meter time down to that mark something that will
he is.
400?
Well, I think it's always good to work on your speed early to kind of, when you drop back to a little bit slower, you feel like you're running faster because you've run faster speed early. So I think Jeremy will feel good in his races. We don't have any 200 planned now in the near future, but if we feel like he needs some more speed work, we can add a 200 down the road. But right now we're concentrating on the 400.
What sort of changes did you have to make when Jeremy came back with you this year?
We just went back to the things that got us to where we were before, and we had to work awful hard, probably a little harder than you want to when you're competing on the circuit. But he had to sacrifice a little bit, had to miss some meets, had to work some meets when he was a little tired. Right now he's fresh.
And are you happy with how things are at the moment?
I was happy with the way he ran in Stockholm. I think that showed me he's getting back to where he needs to be.
Wonderful. Thanks very much.